this live right now? Am I live right now? When did I push live? Is this live? I didn't know that I was live. Oh, wow. How long was I live for? I didn't push the button. Hi. Merry Christmas. Sorry, I didn't think I was live. I was gonna edit all the description and everything before we went live, but I guess we're live right now. And I was gonna fix the whatever. We're live. Hello. Can you guys guess where I am? Oh, Gerald's here. Hi, Val. Hi, Todd. Hi, Emily. Hi, Sammy. Hi, Angelique. I feel like I need to sit up. I'm using a different stand today. Is that better? My feet hurt. I'm just gonna sit like this. My shirt looks inside out, but it's not. I keep looking at it, I'm like, I'm not ready. I'm shook right now. I didn't think we were gonna be live this fast. My first live, and I joined the Culty crew. Oh, yay, thank you, Cassie. Can anyone guess where I am right now? Does this look familiar? Who do we know keeps the Christmas tree up all year round? North Pole. Hi, Crystal. Thank you. I just asked if anyone can guess whose house I'm in because of the Christmas tree. Do you want to show them? Oh, they probably saw you in the.
Oh, because the tree's still up?
Yep. It's Priscilla.
My tree is always up.
Is this? I should have got pillows to sit on. I didn't even realize. I didn't plan. Okay, today. Yeah, Gerald's like Priscilla's. Can I sit on that, or are you sitting on that? Or is that for you?
It's for me. You don't get one.
Thank you. Today we are talking about number 80, the numbered man. And Priscilla's gonna help me with the with the description of this person because I feel like I've been having a really hard time explaining the card line and the system of how we get our money out in the order. So Priscilla's gonna help me with that. Number 80 is, so they had two people that controlled card line, at least when we were in the order, right? There was two people that controlled card line. So when you wanted to get money, you had to call in to one of these two people, and one of them was number 80, who we're talking about today. Do you want to explain card line since I do such a bad job of it?
Yeah, so basically how it works, like to get an add-on is, so if you have like a normal bank account, then you would have your checking and your savings, and if you have like $10 in your checking, then you can't buy something that's $100, right? So basically, to call and get an add-on, they would move money from your savings to your checking, essentially, because you don't have access to it.
That's such a good way of explaining it, because I was trying to explain it to people in the order understand it, but it's like the verbiage that I was using was like order member language. Yeah. But yeah, that's basically it. It's like, but from my memory, I couldn't call and just get like $5,000 on card line. And people that I knew that were trying to get a large amount, they would have to say, oh, I'm trying to buy a car, or I'm trying to do this. And they could literally just say, sorry, you can't get your money.
Yeah, I remember one time my older sister said that she needed a car, and like when we're talking about cars, then order people only get like run down cars that will last for a few years, so they spend like $2,000, $5,000 max. Like that's crazy to spend on a car to them. But like my sister asked for I think $2,500, and they were like, oh, we have people going to college, or like that they need these things more than you need that, so they wouldn't let her spend her money.
Which is funny because most of them were getting paid to go, like the paid schooling. Well, what's it called? FAFSA? Is that what it's called? No. Are you able to tilt the camera? Ooh, am I?
Yeah. I know.
I don't know because this is your stand. Is that better? Yes? Maybe?
Yes. I think
Okay.
so.
Good. Someone asked if number 80 is still alive, and yes, he is. He's actually related to you. You tell him. You tell him.
He's my stepdad's brother.
Older or younger?
I think older. And then his mom is the other person that.
Does Cardline?
Yeah.
Yep. So, and I didn't know that it's a mother and son that was in charge of Cardline. I wonder if it's changed since. I did hear that one of them got in trouble for giving money out to a person that wasn't supposed to be getting their own money out, and so they got, I don't know if they got suspended or demoted or what. Thank you for the donation. You're awesome, Amanda. I love your personality and all the info you give. Aw, thank you, Cass.
I think I would assume that they both still do it because when somebody knows how to do their job so well, they're not just gonna be like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
Like she'll have that job until she dies.
Yeah. Okay, maybe they just like got her in trouble.
I think that one of Paul's wives also like work with them, so it's more. Maybe they just added like another person, another step to get
To watch over,
like
yeah.
a large amount or something.
Yeah, and I've told this story. He's not a polygamist, right? Number 80. I don't think number
No.
80 is a polygamist.
Mm-mm.
But the brother is a polygamist. And I've told this story before, but like me and Priscilla, we were both in the order at the same time. We couldn't just get money out. So I found out, it was actually one of Paul's daughters that taught me how to do this, that you could, because I worked at the front desk of the office where people got money, and I was allowed to give out $500 for the day. I would get out this little pouch of money, and I had to make sure that they had their authorization. So they would fill out a slip, and they would have to have the authorization from Cardline. So they would call Cardline, make sure that they had the money in the account, and say, okay, let me put $50 on my Cardline, an add-on. So then they'd put the $50 on the add-on, and then they would get the authorization number to write down on the slip, and then on the slip they would also write down the amount and the reason for the money. I always hated that there was a slot for why do you need your own money. So I'd always put like tampons to make them uncomfortable.
$200 tampons.
But so we figured out that you could, how to do like a fake authorization number to be able to get the slip to go through and get the money out. But we only could do like small amounts because I only had the $500 pouch in the front. And it felt like stealing, even though it was coming from our own account.
Right.
It was taking it out our own
Right.
account. We're so bad. I remember though, they started to like eye me, and they would,
Yeah.
you know how like because I was working at the front, there was this mirror that was a double way mirror where it looks like a mirror in the front, but they could see what you were doing in the back. And I could say her name, it's Paul's sister, Rachel Young. She would stare through the mirror to make sure I wasn't like, that she said, you have to get a text, you have to see proof, like a text from their parents that
Yeah.
says that it's okay. So I don't even know if it was me or one of our friends that would just say, you would pretend it was like, hey mom, can I get this money? and then
No, and okay, so to make sure it was really your mom, like your mom would never say, yeah, that's fine. She would be like, what is it for? Are you sure you need that? So then we would have our friends be like asking us 1,000 questions about it, and then be like, okay, that's fine.
and because they would show me the text, and Rachel Young would be behind the like double mirror looking. So we're like pretending that we don't know that she's watching, and like, okay, here's your money.
All right.
And it was literally like $20.
Right.
We're like sweating. Oh, I keep hitting this. Yeah, it was ridiculous just to get your own money. And we would joke around because on Sundays you can't get your add-on. You can't go to the bank because everyone's at church. So we would go knock on the window where the Sunday school was, where number 80 was, and be like, hey, we need to get an add-on. Can we get an add-on? Because you have to go through them to get the add-on. Which is weird though, because on Sundays everyone would go to John's Marketplace and buy a ton of stuff.
Yeah, so literally they would have this log You worked there for a little bit, no? Or
Yeah.
it was just your family?
But you still had to have an add-on to be able to charge it to the account.
I know, but that's what I'm saying is because they can't call and see if you have it. So you would literally have to get it prior and have them. What was it called? It was like pre-auth.
Oh,
Like
pre-auth.
They would have a list and like, okay, this person has a pre-authorization for $80 this month, and then they would literally just like, if they spent $39, they would cross it off and then write the new number.
Yeah, it's kind of an old system. I don't know if they still do it that way, but especially at John's Marketplace when I worked there, then you could literally, like, I could go in there and be like, hey, can I get this gallon of milk, and can you charge it to my card number, which is 60351A. So they type it 60351A, that's my card number, and it charges to that. But we tried not to do that in front of outsiders, because then outsiders would be like
let me do that. How are they? They're not paying.
Exactly.
But don't they have debit cards now? Like,
they have an app.
Yeah, an app.
I don't know if they have debit cards, but they do have an app called P Card, which I heard that you should not be downloading that app because they have. Did you know this?
I heard that. Yeah, they record your conversations through that app. It's
Anyone
like
in the order
installed in it.
Anyone in the order, do not download that app, because that app went through so many. There's a reason why the people who created the app. There's a reason why it went through those people who know how to do the things they know how to do. So don't download that app, and if you have downloaded on your phone, throw your phone away.
Get a new one.
Get a new one. Yeah. So I don't know if there is debit cards. I honestly think that they wouldn't want them to have debit cards. Why would they want them?
Yeah. No, it's not a debit card that works at a normal store. It's
only
like,
at the order
yeah.
stuff? Really?
I mean, I don't know exactly how it works, but I know that they have an app, and then they just have like gas cards, right?
Yeah, we definitely had. I remember they had gas cards that actually worked at the gas stations, and so then people were buying too much stuff at the gas station, so they made sure that it could only be used for gas. Yep, I remember that. I had another point I wanted to make on all that. So there's card line, add-ons. Oh, can you explain blue card, yellow card, green card? Because I was told by different people that there's different amounts that's on the blue card versus yellow card versus green card. Okay, how would you explain this? Because there are some people that don't have to get add-ons as much, right?
Oh yeah, so if you have a blue card, then you can charge whatever you want to your thing. Like, you don't have to call and get an add-on. Only like green cards do, right? If you have a green card, then it'll start with a 6, right?
Mine started with a 6.
Yeah, green cards start with 6, blue cards start with 8, and then there's like a yellow card in between, I think.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
That's
my mom had a blue card, and I remember when I was younger, I had a blue card too, because we had so much money in our account from my dad's social security after he passed away. So they literally like gave me and my siblings blue cards, and then I would go, like, a couple of times I went to John's Market and like bought candy, like $5 worth of candy. And after doing that a few times, then they changed it to a green card, so I would have to call and get my mom's permission.
Yeah. So I guess if you spend too much on a blue card, then they can demote you.
Too much, like $20 max on candy, on Lifesavers.
I always felt like it was basically like, I thought it was a way to like stamp us, like, oh, blue card is the high class and the green card is the poverty stricken. The paphos. But really, it's just like their way of like figuring out the system.
Yeah, so like if you're good with your money, if you have a lot of money, you would have a blue card. But then if you're someone that like doesn't have so much money, or like
can't be trusted with your own money, right, then you're lower.
You probably don't have that much money.
Did you think that Yellow Card the band was named after Yellow Card? Because I did. I thought that that's how the whole world worked. I thought that's how outsiders did their banking too.
I knew that I saw this movie called The Order, and I thought it was based on The Order, and I wanted to watch it so bad, but they wouldn't let me.
Wait, why?
I think it's like a scary movie. I mean, because The Order sounds like a cult, and I think it's like some type of culty thing.
I think I think
People are psycho.
Yeah, I thought it was the one with Kevin Bacon in it. No,
I don't know.
I don't know actually. I should know, but I don't. We should watch it now that we can.
And there's one called like The Outsider. Like, oh.
What real bank won't give you your money when you want to withdraw without getting permission first? It's a good sign your dollar is being taken from you. Wait, what?
Yep.
Yeah. Cult banking. So yeah, it's basically like, and Eskel talks about this on his channel too, like he was trying to get money out of his own account to buy Christmas gifts for his family, and they literally put him on a waiting list and said, we'll see, we don't know if we even have the money. But he had the money, like his account was like thousands, but he couldn't get it out, and he had to be put on a waiting list.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I just feel like Paul was just taking all the money and like, what's the word, liquidating, or like putting it into investments.
Yeah, that is what they were doing. And because everyone, like, let's say one company is like super negative for the year, like not doing well, then they would put the money there to like keep that company afloat.
Yep.
And yeah, they definitely had a lot of investments that, and they always taught us, like, I always thought, like, we just have to save. Investing is stupid. Don't do that. Like, you're going to lose your money. But it's because they wanted us to give our money so they could invest.
Yep.
That's why they have, like, so many properties, like, so much stuff.
Mm-hmm. And the ridiculous thing is, too, like, that's not enough. Taking all of our money wasn't enough. We also couldn't own our homes. Even though we were buying our homes, we were, like, my mom had her home given to her, but she had to give it up to the order because of consecration, right?
Yeah.
So everyone is giving their homes up, and then sometimes paying rent too. So even though you own your home, you're now paying rent to the church for living in it. And a lot of the times the kids underage are being charged rent. I've talked about this multiple times, but there's been times where 5 kids teenagers will be living in one room, all working for order companies and paying like $300 a head in their own parents' house.
Yeah.
And the thing is, though, that's kind of cool about that, not cool, but I feel like we were able to survive out here because we basically had to do all this stuff that we're having to do out here, but in the order times 10 in the order. So it teaches you the survival skills.
I know. I used to like hoard my money because I was taught, like, don't spend your money. And then just this year I started buying whatever I want.
Just do whatever I want.
I'm like, what if I die tomorrow?
Exactly. Is that, I want to make so you can't see back there.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to scoot? Should I scoot?
Sure.
Okay, sorry. I will open up for questions now. Let's see. Oh, yeah, that's a good point, Ashley. Jennifer tried to get her money, too, when she left, and Andrea was with her saying she needs all her money, and I think they said anything over $5,000 needs an authorization. Yeah. Hi. It's okay. That was on Escaping Polygamy. So you can actually watch what happened when it was even Daniel's own kid. You would think, too, that the leader's brother's kids would be able to get their money out more. But I think Paul's kids, maybe not all of them, but Paul's favorites, I think they can have more access.
Well, I think, too, because when they know that you're leaving, then they don't give you stuff.
Yep.
But they were on camera, so they made it seem like they do give money, you know?
Yeah, but no, they were like, we could only give $5,000 out, and we have to, well, I think it was like I don't even know, it was a cashier's check or something like that. Mm-hmm. They had to go to the bank to go get it. But it still wasn't all of it. So yeah, the $5,000 needed an authorization. Mm-hmm. But I was talking to someone from the FLDS, and they have a similar hierarchy where people that are really close to Warren Jeffs, so instead they didn't have like money necessarily the way that we had it in the order where we have a banking system, but they had to where you go to the storehouse and then they could get the things that they need, and there would be a line, and they said that if you were closer to the basically like a royal family, right? If you're closer to the Warren Jeffs family or the favorites, then you got to skip line and you got to get your stuff first. And kind of the same with, I feel like, if someone wants a loan or, you know, whatever they need to have in the order, or a home or a nice job, if you're more favored by Paul, you'll get those things. And a lot of the times I've noticed, I don't know if you noticed this, if people are giving their daughters, and Paul's sons are marrying a lot of the family's daughters, they get more opportunities, the family. owning more businesses, having nicer homes. It's very similar. I think all cults are the same in that area, where there's the favorites and they live in high society while we all are dumpster diving at the bottom. Did you dumpster dive?
No.
I never did. I would like to make that known.
I mean, I would go with you guys.
You did? We only went.
I thought it was so fun because my mom never did food stamps or anything because she was so against, like, she's like, I'm not gonna take anything, and she was just like a proud person, so she didn't do any of that.
Yeah.
But she also just saved her money all the time, so
Yeah.
she lived with my grandma, so she didn't have to like worry about, with only 3 kids at the time, so she wasn't like struggling, you know.
Yeah.
But I feel like it was like the large families that had all of these kids they had to take care of.
And my mom wasn't proud of her EBT card. She'd be like, Amanda, go ask them if they take EBT, but say it quiet. I'd be like, do you guys take EBT? She'd be like, shut up. She hated it. But we didn't. My mom also was kind of like your mom in the sense of, like, she did not like to see her kids dumpster diving. So we weren't supposed to be dumpster diving. We were going with the first wife's kids, and they loved it. And she, like, literally, I don't know if she was one of the moms that did this, but definitely some of Daniel's wives would drive their kids to the dumpsters. Okay, kids, go.
But they would get like food out of the dumpster and stuff like that. Like,
yep. Jessica told this story. It's not funny, but I laughed so hard when she told me because she was like, I wanted to make my mom so proud. And so one time I remember being like patting myself on the back because I found a watermelon and I was like, Mom, look, I got a watermelon and it's not even broken. And she's like, good job, sweetie. But like to hear these stories and like thinking about it now as the adults, where can you imagine being a mom taking your kids to the dumpsters because your own husband is not providing for these kids in the name of the Lord?
Right.
Meanwhile, Paul has a pool in his home. Like,
right.
There's an obvious injustice going on here.
Doesn't Patty live at like David Archuleta's old house?
No.
Yeah.
I don't.
The guy that
so.
won American Idol. Yeah. It is, huh? Yeah, it is. David Archuleta's old house.
No.
Yeah.
No. I'm gonna Google that later.
No one out of Utah even knows who that is.
No, I think people do.
Yeah, probably.
I think they do because. Actually, you might be right. Because he was super famous for Utah standards.
Yeah.
But I think that he kind of fell off after American Idol.
Yeah.
Who am I to judge? I don't know. I loved him, though. I wanted to marry him when I was a kid.
Crush.
I was like, Dad, do you think that I could ever marry a guy and convert him to the order? He's like, absolutely not. As if we need more proof the order leadership only cares about themselves. I know. And I just like, I don't know. I don't know where it all went downhill, but I do feel like as soon as Ortel became the leader, all of a sudden there was like incest and then the blood testing starts happening. And I think with each leader, it got worse and worse. And I only...
Like, there's been so many leaders.
well, it started in 1935, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny because even older generation in the order would be like, you know, it was so much better when was it Brother Eldon? I always get confused, Brother Eldon and Brother Charles. But it's so much better when Eldon was the leadership because there wasn't people having more than 10 wives. Like, they're being greedy now. And But it's like, we also didn't live in that time, so we don't know what the problems were in that time.
I feel like, so it started during the Great Depression, 1935, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like it was kind of out of necessity where people would come together. And I think in that way, it was good, like, to get people on their feet or whatever. Like, they would all kind of pull together. But I think now it's just they're acting like they're still in the freaking Great Depression.
Yep, and to make people feel guilty.
Nothing's ever gotten better.
Yeah. If you plan on leaving, could you take little amounts of money at a time, like 500 one time, then 200 the next? And that's what I did, because I only could have that 500 every day. And if no one took money out that day, I would write a fake authorization and take that 500. But also, if you, so you have to think of it this way. Most people underage have to get their parents to call Cardline. And a lot of the times the parents are like, no. And think of it this way too. us women, we're married under 18. So then what happens? Like, you have to get married to get your money out if you're wanting to leave.
But
right?
now our husband is like our dad.
Yeah, it's like you get passed to a different household. You never really fully get to be independent. That's the way they like it. They don't want women to be independent, which is why you don't see a lot of them going to school either. My dad would say, I'd be like, oh, Dad, I really want to go to school. Can I go to school for this? Oh, when you get married, you can ask your husband if that's okay. Like, that was a lot of the times how he...
It was, I feel like it was the girls that they were scared were going to leave. Like, that they knew they didn't believe in everything because they didn't let me go to school either.
Yeah.
But a lot of the other girls that were like so gung-ho for the order,
they did trust them to go to school. But it was still the fact, I feel like, at least from what I saw, way more men were able to go and not questioned than women. Mm-hmm. Like, women, it was like, especially for me, like, I could not go unless I got married. And Rachel had to hide going to school. Did you know that? Yep, she had to, I think what she was doing is she was going, but she had to hide what classes she was taking because what she was going for was not what the order wanted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I guess she was trusted to that extent. But also when she got caught talking to outside boys. Did I tell you the story? One of Daniel's daughters saw Rachel talking to an outside boy. It was really just her classmate talking about what the homework assignment was. And one of Daniel's daughters just like went up to Rachel and like she had been on the phone and I think she I need to remember the story. She basically handed the phone to Rachel to get scolded for talking to boys. And then the girl talks to the boys and is like, just so you know, she's betrothed. You shouldn't be talking to her. Like, how psychotic is that?
How embarrassing.
It's controlling too. And that's the part that bothers me is like, I know that it's the men that are the oppressors, but it's so sad because sometimes the women become the same amount. Yeah.
Because the men would more just like watch you and just like, but the women will go up to you and say things.
I don't know. My dad went up. One time I was dancing with someone I wasn't supposed to be dancing with, and in the middle of the dance, he like yanked me away from the person.
My stepdad did that to me too.
Yeah.
But I mean like if a random guy that's like, let's say, interested in you saw, then he would be less inclined to go up to them because they're like scared. You know?
I think it's also though because then they could get in trouble for talking to us too and pairing off. I think that could be a part of it too. But I have been scolded by other guys or tattletailed on by other guys and lost positions in job positions because people like in John's Marketplace, people were coming up to me and like flirting with me or whatever.
No, like the guy will always tell on you, but they won't always go up to you.
Oh, so they're a chicken.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
They don't have the balls like the women do.
But that happened to me when my older sister was going to school. She went for like a couple of semesters, I think, until they pulled her out. But she was talking to an order boy about like FAFSA or whatever it's called, and he was helping her fill out a form, and I was sitting right next to them, and one of Paul's daughters came and like saw us, and she called my mom and said that those two were pairing off, and I was sitting on some random guy's lap. I'm like, where did that come from?
Where's
like,
the guy?
Did she take a picture, Mom? Because I want to see.
Yeah. She's like, well, why would you do that?
Like, why am I always doing the worst things?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say too, the rumors that were spread in the order were so dumb. So you were like 15 when this rumor was going around. Someone comes up to me and was like, Amanda, you want to see a picture of Priscilla hugging a boy? And I was like, oh,
it was more
boy,
like
do I?
13. It was like when I was in 7th grade.
Okay, yeah. And they showed the picture and it was like the gossip of the town.
But so it was literally a picture, right? Like proof of what happened, but people were over here like
they were making out,
spreading that I was making out behind a garbage, like a dumpster. I'm like, there's a picture of what happened. It was one little hug.
I remember too. Do you remember the rumor that went around about Daniel's daughter making out with a boy behind the curtain at church? Do you remember that? No? Remember? Yeah. But it's like so dumb, and I really think it's similar to the mentality of just like small towns. There's just when you know everybody, everyone's family, you know everything about everyone.
Yeah.
The juicy gossip is like also when you have nothing to do with your life.
Exactly. It's literally like you're in middle school, high school for your entire life.
Forever. And then the rumors really hurt your feelings. Like I remember telling you guys the rumor where this is the quote, Amanda, every time she sees a black man, she runs up to them and kisses them. That was the rumor that was being spread about me, and it hurt my feelings
Like,
because
I do not.
because first of all, I hadn't even kissed. I don't even think I had even kissed at that time. And then the judgment that they put on mixing your race, that's why the rumor was spread, because they were trying to really hurt me. But now, if I were to have that rumor spread around me, I don't care. But the fact is, like, when you're in that small community where you become ostracized, like even that rumor of you like basically being a slut because because it's 13 too.
Okay, people were saying that I was like with this person, with that person. I didn't even know what sex was back then. I'm like, like I knew.
But
nothing.
then they were saying that you were sleeping with people.
Yeah,
so ridiculous.
Like that I was super slutty, and I'm like.
And the sad thing is, where were the rumors about the men?
The men were the ones making them. I had this guy that liked me so much. He decided that like he was just that I was his. Right? And then when I told him, I'm like, oh, no, I don't like you. He went and told everyone we were together and I cheated on him.
Just because he was mad?
Yeah.
Yeah. I really do think that 99% of the rumors were spread by men. The one of me running up and kissing, yeah, that was a man. I traced the source. It was a man. And the funny thing is when people say that women are drama queens, I have never met someone more dramatic than some of the men I've met in the order. So... Sorry, I forgot you guys were here asking questions.
Amanda, you never answer my questions.
I'm sorry. Did you talk about the numbered men 2 through 7? I don't even know. We actually didn't. You guys are the reason why we started making these about the numbered men, because when we hit number 8, I was like, oh, number 8 is Brother Ortel, the leader, and then number 9 is Brother Paul. And then everyone was like, who's the number for today? And I was like, oh. So you guys basically employed me. You guys made this be my job.
I don't know who most of the numbers are.
Yeah, I think the main ones is 8 and 9. Everyone knows who 8 and 9 is. And number 1, 33, because he went to prison. And let's quiz you. Do you know Daniel's number?
15.
Good job.
Well, I know the main one.
Jesse's?
Nobody cares about Jesse.
Nobody cares about Jesse.
He's your dad is 36.
Yes.
Jesse is, what is Jesse? 42?
48,
Oh.
I think.
Oh, I did know that because all of his daughters would have it on like
Yep, on their back.
Their back.
It's like a stamp of who you belong to. Which, by the way, I'm at 36,000 subscribers, so if you guys can hurry and make that number go up or down, I don't care, as long as it's not 36. Oh, thank you for the donation, Cassie. Just want to show support and thank y'all for speaking out and helping countless people. I love how raw and real you are. This channel helps more than just order people. Oh, thank you. Sorry I can't get to, I know these lives get so like packed that I can't get to every single person's comment, but I do have Patreon, and those lives are a lot smaller to where I get through every single comment. So if you want to subscribe, I usually keep it in my description box. I'll have to update that later. I didn't put that in the description box down below, but is there a reason you still call them brother? They are not brother to you anymore. Brother and sister. Do you still call him Brother Paul sometimes?
Okay, everyone is like Jesse, Daniel, whatever. It's so weird every time I go to say Paul, then it's like Paul, in my mind that's so disrespectful. I'm like, why you? Like I'll literally start saying like Brother Paul, and I'm like, Paul.
I just feel like there's a lot of Pauls too, so I just say Brother Paul so that people know what Paul I'm talking about. Kind of like there's a lot of Jasons, but everyone this is what happened in the order, they called him Fat Jason. That's what they called him because there were so many Jasons.
And Paul's
Big Joe too.
Brother, Big Joe.
That was just the lingo. So I feel like, it's not a respect thing, Brother Paul, it's just that there's so many
It's like
Pauls.
it's so ingrained into you that you just call him that.
Yeah, it's you just, because I don't remember saying, Brother Jesse, not really.
Yeah, I just said
no one
Jesse.
called him that. And
like,
his own kids called him.
Nobody worried about him. Ew.
His own kids called him Uncle Jesse. And for some of them, it was accurate. Because the mom and dad were brother and sister. Yeah. Uncle Jesse. And for some reason, David and Jesse, their kids did that. Uncle David and Uncle Jesse. But I never heard anyone say Uncle Daniel. Did you?
No, because most of Daniel's kids don't even respect him. They just call him Daniel.
They just call him
You're not my dad.
And I think too, like of Paul and his brother's kids, I think Daniel has had the most leave because Daniel's probably the craziest dad.
Yeah.
Well, they're all crazy, but.
Yeah.
Good job meeting Megan. She's like, Jason is number 49. Good job. Jesse's number 48.
She knows more than me.
Good job. We should do a little quiz for you guys. Good evening, Amanda and Priscilla and everyone. Hi, Sally. My siblings and I have so many friends named Matt that one specific one is Fat Matt. But we would never say it to him or his mom. Well, hopefully he's not going to watch this.
Right.
Yeah, but that's just the way to like we knew who they were. But also a lot of people didn't like Jason, so they didn't care to respect him. But for those of you who don't know, Jason is the father to Jacob. He came out and did a video with us.
The one that attacked Amanda.
Mm-hmm. And Jason is the youngest of all, or just the youngest boy? I think he's the youngest of all,
He's
right?
the youngest of the Donna's kids. I used to think he was Paul's son, but he's his brother.
No, you did. That's fine. No, he's his brother.
I always forget.
Oh, Amanda Ray, I am sorry, Patriot. Oh no, you're totally fine. For you and Esco, as my kids are being. That I don't ever want to pressure anyone to join. If you want to join, you totally can. If not, we're still coming here every Sunday. We're here every Sunday to hang out.
She is, not me.
Oh yeah, just me. You're just lucky enough that she's here today. So yeah, if you guys have any questions for her, because she's probably not going to be on the next one, you should ask your questions now. Ask your questions now or forever hold your peace. When you did the DNA test, did the numbers of matches surprise you? Okay. I think sometimes when I describe the DNA tests,
She didn't do like 23andMe. She didn't do a DNA test. So what in the order, then there were a lot of like in the ancestral marriages, there were weird things happening, like a kid born with only one ear, or like no fingernails, or whatever it is, and
there's a lot
like
of internal
Down syndrome
issues.
and stuff like that. So what they do is they do a DNA test,
Blood test, right?
A blood test, yeah. And they literally try to like match like these people together and see like what DNA fits best together.
Yeah.
And then say like that's who God wants you to marry. But it's because they'll have the least problems.
But
with their
also,
kids.
I think sometimes when I describe it, people get confused and think that we all knew that it was happening. We actually didn't.
We didn't. No.
They and this came from I asked around when I was in the group because I was like, oh, when I started getting wind of it, I was like, oh my gosh, that completely debunks direction and God directing us on who to marry if you're blood testing and just telling us who to marry. So I was asking around, and I asked some of Daniel's kids and some of Paul's kids, and all of them had memories of getting blood tested, but different stories as to why. Allison is the only one that said, of the ones I asked, that said that they told her it's to see who you're going to marry. Which I feel like they were honest to some of them, and then when the people their brain started to click and be like, wait a minute, then why do I have to pray about my direction?
Yeah.
Then they were like, okay, we're just testing to see if you're sick. Like Paul's kid said, oh no, it was just to see if I was like sick. I'm like, since when do they care when we're sick? So then, we started talking more, and they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that that's what that was. So like, and also it's not like they blood test you and then they show you your results.
Yeah.
They don't care what you think. They're going to take in and be like, okay, so this person's best with this person, so we'll just put them together. They're not going to talk to you about it. Maybe there's some rare cases where they do. I've never heard of it. Have you? Okay. It's all the Lord's doing. Gerald says, thank you, Priscilla, for letting us use your camera for my last video. Oh, yeah, we did use your camera.
Of course. I know. How long did you have it? You borrowed it in like
a
January.
year. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Your beautiful athletic self. Can't wait to see more videos on your channel. Oh, he has a channel now too. I think,
Gerald?
We filmed his video
Really?
with your camera.
Oh,
Yep.
I have to watch it now.
Yep. It's Mood with Foods, so we cook and we have like therapy
Ooh,
session.
Okay.
Well, he
I like
cooks
that, yeah.
and I eat. I eat
I was
the
like,
cookies.
you cook, Amanda?
No, you know that. That's the last time you were on my channel, huh? When
Yeah.
when Kayla was like, it's good. She like does the whole like ngun ngun ngun. So yummy. She was nice. She was nice about it.
I think it was actually pretty good.
How did you find out how much you and Eskel are related? Oh, okay. I think you're talking about the DNA. Sorry, we both thought you were talking about blood testing. I did Ancestry, and this was years back, and maybe it was because it was back when it wasn't as developed, but I did Ancestry like right around the time Eskel left the order. And me did the swab, right? Not swab, you like spin a tube and you send it, which is kind of gross, but I did mine. My half brother from the first wife did his, and then Eskel did his, and then it came back that it just Ancestry says like this is a possible cousin, this is a possible brother, right? And so Ancestry online just said it linked me and my half brother as full brothers, and me and Eskel as
Full siblings, you mean?
cousins. Yeah, full siblings with my half sibling, and me and Eskel as cousins. So I've had a lot of people who work in DNA though say that's inaccurate, and I'm like, well then Ancestry is inaccurate. And then people said your mom cheated then, and I'm like, Ancestry must be inaccurate because there's no way my mom, or that you got switched at birth or something that people were saying. I'm like, there's a possibility of that because my dad did like to do this thing. I don't know why, but he liked to do this thing because my mom would have a baby and then the first wife would have a baby and they'd be like days apart. So he would dress them both up the same and then see if the kids could like instinctively know which one is their sibling, which obviously we wouldn't. How would we know?
Right.
We're just kids.
But I mean, it was two full sisters with the same dad.
Yeah. So I always thought that is potentially possible, that me and my half brother could have just got way more of the same genetics.
Yeah.
And me and Eskel didn't. But apparently a lot of my followers were DNA researchers because they said that either my mom had to be cheating
no, because that makes no sense.
that Eskel's not my dad's child.
Oh, cousins. Oh, okay. That makes. But
That's
then
what people
why?
were
But
saying.
then why would the other one be your full brother?
Right. I don't know. But I think it's just Ancestry's mess up. I think Ancestry at the time.
Maybe they like switched them on accident.
Could have been, because we did get tested all around the same time too. But yeah. Amanda, you have 36,000. I know, Eskel.
Shut up.
600 people need to unsubscribe, or we need to get 400 new subscribers right now. I made a live. Hi, Vanessa. My boyfriend and I broke up yesterday. Oh my gosh. Okay, take this opportunity to date yourself. I'm so sorry. That, like, honestly, some of the worst pain is breakups. It feels like losing family.
Worse.
Sometimes, yeah. But I think it's a good opportunity to date yourself and to just love yourself and try not to let whatever they decided, like, a lot of people think that when someone breaks up with them or when you break up with someone, what could I have done? Don't rehash the whole situation. That you learned a lot in that situation, and now it's time to heal yourself and love yourself. Mm-hmm. I hate relationships. Trust me, I was married for 7 years, and I spent a lot of time, feeling ashamed and sad and like embarrassed that I filed for divorce. But at the end of the day, it's the best thing that I could have done. It's better to be able to, it's not worth it to have to sacrifice your relationship with yourself to make someone else happy. I'm not saying that that's what you did, but that's what I did.
Yeah.
Heartbreak is so good for you. Love, you can get through it 100. Yeah, it's true. I was just watching, I don't like this girl, but the Pearl Girl, you guys know the Pearl Girl, she's basically saying, like, I don't think that you should be having a lot of people that you've dated in your life. You should have less people that you've dated and just get married, and I don't believe in divorce and blah, blah, blah. I think exactly what Gerald was saying, because what her argument was is, like, it's more heartbreak, and they said that in the order, too, like, we don't play the game of dating because it's the game of breaking hearts. Remember when they would say that? But the reality is Gerald's right, heartbreak is growth. You learn so much from that. And if you just marry the first person you meet, how are you gonna experience anything? How are you gonna learn and grow? How are you gonna learn about yourself?
I feel like sometimes people get lucky and that's like the best person and they're treated so well, but then other times when you marry the first person you're with, you don't know any better and like you let them treat you like crap and you think you like internalize it and think it's your fault, and
yeah,
because you've never experienced anything
else.
Yeah,
When you think back to your very first Lava. Do you think that would you rather have lived your whole life with them, or are you glad that you didn't? You learn a lot.
Yeah, no.
I don't know about y'all, but
No.
oh, finally someone asks, why do you have a Christmas tree in the background?
Let me live my life.
Why don't we ask Priscilla over here?
Because I'm a happy person.
Yeah, it makes her happy.
Christmas trees make me happy.
Is it your favorite holiday?
I feel like it was my favorite holiday until my mom got remarried.
Yeah. It was my favorite holiday until I wasn't allowed home for Christmas. Then it became my least favorite.
Christmas now doesn't really mean anything, so it's like
we spent Christmas together the last year. You guys got to watch that. Mm-hmm. We spent Christmas out here. But yeah, it's the same thing to me. It's like Halloween is my favorite because I think it's still fun as an adult. And there's no pressure to have to be with family on that day. Mm-hmm. But like I do get depressed around Thanksgiving and Christmas, even sometimes Easter, because we had a lot of those like family rituals, right? Mm-hmm. And to know that that's just the time that you're not welcome. Whereas any other day of the year, it's like la 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 of your life. But on Easter, you're like, I know my family's doing all of this, and I'm not allowed to be a part of it.
I feel like, honestly, like if I'm in a relationship during that time, like I don't think about my family. But because last Christmas, I had just recently gone through a breakup. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, I'm all alone.
Have you spent Christmas alone before? You have? Mm-hmm. What do you do? Just a normal day?
Yeah. I usually work.
Working on the holidays.
Working.
Just like back into order. Just kidding. Christmas was one. Well, no, I don't think I worked on Christmas unless they needed me at John's for whatever reason.
Yeah, I think Christmas was like an off day.
Yeah. Someone else's actions are not a reflection of another individual. I agree with that. I don't know who you're responding to, but yes, I agree with that. Yeah, a lot, and that's something that took me such a long time to learn, especially like speaking on when we were getting like bullied and gossiped about in the order. The reality is someone who's speaking so negatively and has such a negative look of you, it's really just a reflection of who they are as a person when they're constantly talking down about people. Mm-hmm. We were together for 2 years, and it was the first long-term relationship since getting out of a bad 6-year relationship 4 years earlier. Oh, wow. That's hard. I want to ask more, but I don't want to put you on the spot in front of 217 people. So if you want to DM me, you can. But I'm interested because like we've all been through heartbreak for sure. Mm-hmm. My last one, yeah. But see, the thing is, every single time, at the time, I'm like, I wish I never went through this. But now, looking back, I'm like, that taught me so much.
Yeah.
And every single one, you level up. You level up your self-worth. You realize how important your relationship is with yourself and how you're not going to let someone else's perception of you define you. Mm-hmm. Because just like that, like, if your value's right here, someone else thinks your value's down here, that doesn't mean that you deserve that. That means that that's what they can give. But that doesn't mean that you have to go down there. Kind of like with
that you have to accept it.
Exactly. Kind of like with our family. Like, if you're not gonna meet us right here, but this is our only capabilities of love. So I used to I don't know if you went through this with your mom, but I hated that my mom was only capable of loving me based on her own conditions.
Yeah.
So I was like, I would cry. I'd be like, oh, I just want her to come out here so that she can see what the world is like and we can have a real relationship. But the reality is, she can't love beyond what she thinks that she's worthy of. Mm-hmm. So the love that my dad gives her is what she thinks that is the best, right?
Yeah, and I feel like even if, because she got out of that situation for a while, even if the situation that she's in after is better, it's not what you're used to, and you just get scared and you're like, you want to go back.
Because your value. So I've said this example a few times where I had this friend where she only went for the guys that put her down, the guys that didn't really spend a lot of time with her, didn't appreciate her or value her. She liked those guys. And then there were men who gave her flowers, who gave her gifts and wanted to treat her up here, but she was uncomfortable with that. That was unattractive.
Yeah,
Yep. Because this is her level of love. This is what she thinks her value is. So this is uncomfortable and unnatural. How do you get up here? Self-love, baby. You cannot just like date up because it's like your brain won't let you until you evolve.
Yeah.
So you really only accept the love that you think that you're worth, which is also, I also think that respect is the same. You respect others at the level that you respect yourself. That's why someone who's out there like calling you names and being a mean person to you, they probably more likely than not are doing the same to themselves. So I love that topic though. What?
I looked at myself on the computer screen and it looked like I was like
You're like, hello?
like half asleep or something.
I'm sure it happened before that though. Wait, what? The first year I remember the blood testing was 2009? Oh my gosh, yeah, I didn't know it was that early on. I didn't know that. Wow. You know that Merlin's family was against that?
Blood testing?
And there was this rumor that went around that because he was against it, he didn't want any of his family to get tested. There was a rumor that went around that when Merlin died, Daniel was caught by the body with the person, one of his wives. I think you know what wife it is. The wife that is known to do the blood testing. They were caught hanging around the body and then running away with a bag. Did you know this?
No.
Because they wanted to see who could marry into Merlin's family, but Merlin believed in direction. Merlin's number 10, brother Ortel's, again, brother Ortel's full brother.
Do you think that's why a lot of his kids haven't gotten married? Like, do you think that's why they haven't let him get married?
No, I honestly think it's because there's the rivalry of Merlin's family. Because he had the option to marry someone who wasn't even Kingston, and they still didn't want him to marry that person. I think it's a we don't like Merlin's family thing.
No,
I've talked
I
about the
know.
rivalry before.
Right.
But do you think that that's part of it, is that Merlin wouldn't let them test? Is what you're saying?
Well, I mean, I don't know.
It could be.
Just also because Merlin also wanted his kids and grandkids to marry each other.
Well, Merlin also preached, apparently way back when the church was in the Standard Building, he preached that he had a dream that if they keep going down the path that they're going down, I can't remember, it was basically that they're gonna, I'll have to ask the person that told me this again, but it was basically, he predicted what's happening right now. But they didn't like that he said it, because he said it in church. I don't know, he just did a lot of things that were not exactly what Paul wanted. And also LaDonna didn't like him, so.
Yeah.
Amanda, when did you last check your Ancestry account? I know, I need to check it again, because maybe things have evolved on there. Hi, Horses by how would you say that?
Hula chow down? I don't know.
Hula chow down? Sorry I'm late, but my internet was out. What did I miss? Okay, we talked about number 80, and it was the guy that was in charge of Cardline, and you had to call him in order to get your money out.
Tornado warning.
Where at? Where are you from? Hope to join your Patreon at some point. Yes, it's a fun time. We go live at least twice a week now. So, all right, I'm looking for any questions for you. Can you scroll up and see my question? Let me see, where is your question? Oh my gosh, there's so many. What happened to Shirley and Kathy's sister? Oh, it talks about it on Escaping Polygamy. They dedicated a little clip at the end of one of the episodes. She passed away. Yeah. And maybe that's why they're asking, actually, because of that clip. I don't see your question that you said to scroll up to, so I can't find it. Just ask it again. Check your Ancestry account again. Okay, I will. Okay. If you want to ask it one more time, then I'll answer it. But I think we're ready to close for prayer. It's been almost an hour.
Close for prayer.
Did you ever pray after you left the order?
Like when my grandma got sick.
Really?
Then I was like, I promise if you don't let her die, I'll come back to the order.
You did?
Yeah. And then she died and I was like,
You're like,
trash.
Well, I used to say prayers like that in the order. I literally, what was one of the last big meaningful prayers was I prayed and I was like crying praying one of the times that I ran away, and I was like, if the order is true, give me a sign, like just tell me that it's true and I will live polygamy. I don't even care who I have to marry. Like I'll do everything that you want me to do. Just give me a sign. And then that's when, did I tell you this creepy part? I opened the Bible. I'm not lying. I opened my little quad to a random page, and the top said, there will be false prophets among you.
Ooh.
And I was like, there's my sign.
Bye.
And then my dad's like, it was talking about the Mormon church.
Obviously. That's funny.
Yep. And then he made me go, he tricked me into a meeting with Paul. Good morning, all from Australia. I always hate when I'm like closing and then people are like, there's a lot of times where people are like, I finally made it live. I'm like, bye, I'm so sorry.
What I did do when I was in the order though is when I wanted to marry this like specific guy when I was super young, is I would be like, if his car is in this parking lot, then it's where he worked, and it's obviously gonna be there.
You're like, that's
I'm like,
a
then
sign.
I'm supposed to marry him, or like, if this light is green, I'm supposed to marry him, and it would turn
I
red,
did
and
that
I'm like, that one
stuff
didn't
too.
count.
Yeah, I did that stuff too. It's a sign. Someone talked about this story where same thing. Basically, they would go to Idaho and back to Utah, Idaho and back to Utah, and they would always deer or I can't remember the full thing, but basically they were like, hey, I'm supposed to leave the order, I will hit a deer or something, and then he hit a deer and then he left the order. I was like, why did we all do that?
Right.
It's like, you want to leave the order, so you try to hit the deer.
Like, you're chasing them.
Guess it's time to leave. You two are so fun to watch. Oh, thank you, Amanda. From one Amanda to another Amanda. Please don't close in prayer. I believe in, like, I don't like the idea of prayer just because I'm okay with, if you guys want to pray, you can do whatever you want. But for me, I don't get the good feeling of prayer. I think that I had this even in the order. It's like I'm guilty praying. Like, I know you're watching me, and I'm sorry for stealing that cookie and having thoughts about a man that maybe I shouldn't be. And so it's like guilt pray. So praying out here just doesn't feel productive to me because I still don't have like that. You know, I don't even know what it's like to have like that loving, like my adopted family has been like, when I talk about it, they feel really bad because they're like, oh, I wish that you knew this like loving God. And I'm like, I don't. I never knew a loving God. It was always fear me. I'm ashamed of you. But then it's like, why were we fighting so hard to get into heaven with him? Did you ever think about that?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I just remember like my stepdad when he's like, you're not gonna make it to heaven, and I'm like, if you're there, I don't want to be there. So good.
That's good. Did you guys do fast Thursdays?
Yeah.
We don't talk about this a lot.
I did 3-day fasts too.
Really? Water fast?
Nope, dry.
Dry? Oh my gosh. I never did one of those. I did do water fast, but we don't talk about this enough. I should have talked about it in the diet of an order member. We do fast Thursdays every first Thursday of the month, and that's the full 24 hours. That's not like LDS where they fast till lunchtime. It is 24 hours, and I remember being...
No food, no water.
Being pressured as a child to do it. Guilted as a child to do 24-hour fast, which I was reading that as a child, you shouldn't be doing that when you're trying to develop.
Why I'm so short.
Because you couldn't grow. As an adult, though, I will say I've done research and doctors have said it's good monthly as an adult to like cleanse the system. But as a child, you probably shouldn't be having your kids do that.
But I feel like they need to like teach how to like get off a fast, especially when it's a 3-day fast, because my mom said that one time her brother, when she was growing up, did a 3-day fast, and it's no food, no water. And then the day he got off, he like went and ate a bunch of burgers and got so sick because his body couldn't handle that anymore. Well,
you remember the story of, because in the order they do 40-day fasts too, and
42-day fast. Is
42 day?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm not necessarily like super anti that, because I've also saw research that it's actually kind of crazy, the research on 40-day fast. But if you don't know how to get off the fast, you remember the story of when they ate the red meat? They died. because your body literally, you have to slowly introduce foods back to the body.
Yeah.
3 days is different, though. I'm sure that
Yeah.
you'd probably be okay, but you shouldn't eat red meat as your first meal. But what were you fasting for? Direction?
Yeah.
Did you get it? No.
Yeah. God said, you should get out of here.
Really?
No.
No, I just left.
No, I feel like really what they do with fasting is like, so it's to get closer to the Lord, right? But if you don't eat for a certain amount of days and you have no water, it's going to be like how if you're stuck in the desert and you see water because you're hallucinating because you like need that so badly.
They always had these stories. People would come up on stage and tell their stories of their fasts, remember? And it's like, I saw God. I don't remember who it was that said the story, but he was like, do you remember the story? He's like, I was on my fast and I thought that my wife came in and tucked me in, but I realized that she was gone, and then it was that moment that I knew that an angel tucked me in, and I was like, what? You was just dreaming, okay? Yeah, there was a story. But the crazy thing is, though, like, as a young kid hearing those stories, I was like, this is the Lord's work. God is good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think we're about done. I still didn't find that person's question. I'm gonna see if I can find it. Maybe they gave up. I find it so interesting. Oh, I love how there's a lot of times where everyone's just talking to each other because everyone's friends. They're like, hey, what's up? Okay, we're gonna close then with meditation and prayer, and then I will see Patreon members tomorrow and all y'all's next Sunday for Culty Cup of Coffee 81. This is the person's comment. I'm trying to find their comment. Don't forget.
Serena,
The message was retracted.
my sister fasted for 30 days and it was terrible. Yeah, you do literally when these guys would go on 42-day fasts, at the end they were just skin and bones. Like they were so weak. I remember my stepdad did it and he would crawl from his room to the couch and just watch like what are they called? Like ads or commercials of food because he couldn't have it. So he would just like
Oh wow. I remember them even saying if you're doing a fast on Thursday that sometimes baths are cheating because you're soaking up water.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, that is so dumb. Amanda, are you on Top Chat? No, I'm on Live Chat. But it said that she retracted her comment. Because I can't read it now.
Go,
Oh, wait.
Go up again. So we talked about that. Go up. See if she...
Serena. I don't see it. We're trying for you, Serena. Wait, is it this one? My other question is, when did the DNA testing start? Because obviously there are a lot of half-siblings and aunts and uncles. Okay, yeah. So Gerald kind of answered that as far back as he could remember, it was 2009. But I honestly think that they were thinking that they could just have God direct everything until they started having deformities or like babies dying at birth because of... So there's I don't know if it's myths or whatever, but there's rumors that is why Brother Ortel's first wife, he's the leader before Paul, his first wife could never keep a pregnancy full term. And there's rumors that that's when the blood testing started because he didn't understand why his first wife couldn't keep her baby. And like every time the baby would be born, like either born dead or there would just be issues. And so...
But then her full sister was also married to him and she had kids, but how many did she have, or was it just the one? And
I actually don't know.
And he was born mentally challenged.
Mm-hmm. But the first, and they were both Ortel's nieces, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So I really think that was a big pillar in the blood testing because I'm pretty sure they weren't doing blood testing at that time. But I wasn't alive yet.
But even with the blood testing, still uncles will marry nieces and cousins will get married, and even
there's been
sometimes
half-siblings
because their DNA will still work together.
Yep. There was, you saw did you see the invite to the wedding? There was an invite to a wedding of half-siblings, and it was Daniel's kids, and they wanted the parents to be on the card, but they both had the same dad, different moms, so then they edited so that it looked like Daniel was on this side with this wife, and then Daniel was also on this side with this wife. Did you see it?
No.
So they edited two Daniels. It was Daniel's daughter that married her brother. Do you know what I'm talking about? I'll find the picture and show you.
Well, it's recent?
When we were in the order.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It was like, I think it was like around the time that we left. Yep, I'll show you. It's very interesting. What time is Eskel going live? Eskel, I think right after we leave. I asked if a random person walked into the order bank and asked to open an account with... No, because it doesn't just say bank on the front.
It's not a bank. It literally looks like an office building, and it says no soliciting. Like, there's no words.
It's like
on
tinted
the front
windows.
Of it. Yeah.
Yep.
So only someone who knows exactly where they're going will end up there, because the whole building is owned by the order.
Yep.
Like, nobody's just gonna accidentally walk into it.
There were times where people would come in trying to sell fragrances, and they're like, "What is this place?" And I was like, I don't even remember what I said, but I knew I wasn't supposed to say what it was. They were like, "Next time, just tell them to leave." But I was like, "Ooh, smelling the fragrance." Like, if I had money, I could pay for this, but I have to call card line. You know how it is. Okay. I think that we will, woohoo, thank you. We finally answered your question, yay. Okay, maybe we'll end it with that one, unless, the list of order-owned businesses, we've talked about this before. If you Google Kingston Clan or the order, you can go to their Wikipedia, and there's a whole section on their own businesses. I know they own more than that, but that's a good rough draft, because a lot of people are like, what businesses should we boycott? That's a good start. We did talk about Bountiful Baby in the last episode, number 79, because the owner of Bountiful Baby, we talked about Nevin Pratt, he's the CEO of Bountiful Baby, and that's like one of the bigger companies. Well, at least he makes a lot of money off that one. I did want to say before I forget, I did learn his daughter married into polygamy underage, right? Were you there? Number 79.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so people were asking if he was like pro-polygamy or whatever. Definitely, because first of all, his wife came from, another group, and she married Tom Green, and then he promoted his daughter getting into a marriage he was a lot older than her, no? I believe so.
I think so.
But from what I remember, it was a secret wedding, and she was the second wife, I believe. Anyway, sorry, I wanted to remember to add that in there because I forgot to say it last week. Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you for the donation. Thank you for your words. Sorry, just super depressed. Oh, no. I understand. Don't say sorry. You do not have to say sorry. My last heartbreak, I couldn't get out of bed for days at a time. Us both. It's hard, and you just have to be gentle with yourself, because I made the mistake of, why aren't you healing? You shouldn't be staying in bed like this. Like, you shouldn't be so hurt over it. That's not gonna help you heal faster. So don't make the mistake I made, because it prolonged the progression.
And don't think about I wasted 2 years, because you definitely, I'm sure, learned a lot of stuff about yourself and about how you are in relationships and how you want to be treated.
Exactly. You learn there's always going to be things that you valued in the relationship and things that you would not want to have in the next one, right? There's going to be things that help you to build your relationship with yourself, and just be easy on yourself. Don't beat yourself up, because this happens to all of us. And I did the same thing though, what a waste of a whole year of my life. But the reality is, you learn so much in that amount of time. So it's not a waste. My DM is open though if you want to talk about it. You don't have to say sorry though. We understand completely. Hi, sorry I'm late. It's the end of the live, Opie and Natty. It's good to see you though. Glad to at least say hi to you before we go. Good night, Jane. Okay. We're going to head out, but it was good to hang out with you guys. She's like, one more. Who did Tom Green's wife marry? Number 69. If you go to Culty Cup of Coffee, number 69, we talk all about it.
69 or 79?
69. I can say his name because he wrote a book, Daniel Jr. Oh. He's also married. So number 69 is Daniel Jr., who is, oh my gosh, okay. He is Daniel Sr., right? Brother Daniel. We know who Daniel is. We don't have to explain. Daniel Jr. is Daniel's son, also full brothers to Jacob Kingston, who did the biodiesel fraud. Also, one of his many wives holds the record for the most babies born to one woman in the order, I believe. I believe it's 20. And they talked about it.
Oh.
They actually, I could probably say her name because they talked about it in a podcast episode of one of the order members. She had a podcast episode talking about this woman who had 20 kids, and then I called it out on my channel, and I think they took down the whole episode.
Oh,
but if you go
wow.
to Culty Cup of Coffee number 22, there's still a snippet of it up where I talk about it. So yeah, to answer your question, number 69, if you go to Culty Cup of Coffee, number 69, he ended up, after Tom Green died of COVID, he ended up basically taking on all of Tom Green's wives. Also, Tom Green got a number after he joined the order. Guess what his number was?
What?
269. Because apparently Tom Green, he hung out with Paul and his brothers a lot before he even joined the order, but his favorite was Daniel. And he wanted his I know, doesn't that say a lot about him?
Yeah.
Of all of them, why would Daniel be your favorite? Sir. But this is a man, though, who talked about how when a woman is 15 years old, she's of age to be having children. And he lived by that. So maybe him and Daniel were two peas in a pod. But so he got the number 269. His wives went to number 69 because he wanted his family to be in Daniel's family. Like, that was something that was pretty well known. So yeah, hope that answered your question. And if you want more information on the person that took Tom Green's wife, go to Culty Cup of Coffee number 69. Okay, bye you guys. Love you guys. We'll see you next week. Bye Sarah, bye Megan, bye Todd, bye Darcy, bye Esco. Oh yeah, go to Esco's channel. He's gonna go live if you want to hang out more.
Bye.
Okay, bye. How do I turn this thing off?